Welcome to the V.D.R podcast. My name is Vic,
I'm David Rosario.
and we are brothers. This is our first podcast, and
Very first, yes.
very first one.
Very first one.
And a little bit about ourselves. Go ahead, bro. You go first.
Well, I'm Dave. You call me Dave. My real name is David, but I tell people to call me Dave most of the time because it's much easier. They've been calling me that since, for years. Everybody always said Dave. I was born and raised in Patterson, New Jersey, my whole life. I lived there probably for almost almost 30 years of my life, basically. And I've been living now. I'm currently living in Florida. I've been in Florida. I was going on three years now. 3 years, if I can recall. Been out here in Florida for 3 years now. Ex-veteran, ex-marine. I used to be a Marine Corps. So yeah, that's who I am right now.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's my little brother. I'm the oldest in the family. There's three of us. It's myself, David, and our youngest sister, Jasmine.
Yes, sir.
She's married to a great guy named Kevin. They live up there, up in North Florida, with a beautiful family. But my name is Vic. I go by my government name is Victor, but I go by Vic. I'm a business guy. I'm married. I have children. A blended family, 5 kids altogether. My oldest is a junior in high school, and then my youngest, I only have one daughter. She is 2 years old. Talk about the dichotomy right there, right?
I forgot to mention I'm a dad, by the way. Sorry about that. I have one kid.
But other than that, man, I love Jesus. I'm a Christian. I follow him.
Amen. Praise God.
And married to a beautiful wife. We've been married for a few years now. I don't know how many years, but since 2021. So whatever the math is.
Hey, ladies, I'm single. Just to let you know. I got one kid. We're good. I forgot to say for legal purposes, but amen. I want to throw that out there.
You know, you sound like our Uncle Fufu.
I know.
I call him the Rick James OG player, who's a wannabe player.
I don't mind a chick with kids. All right, just don't have but if you got 3 or 4, I can't right now. I'm too poor for that. I'm sorry. Too poor for that.
But
I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding, actually. I'm dead serious. All right, keep going.
I love it. But yeah, man. So married, children, businessman. I served in the Army for 15 years active duty. I've been to many different continents. Yeah. I'm an Iraq and Afghanistan combat veteran. I've been overseas multiple times. Served in some really cool duty stations with the Special Forces. I was an officer in the military towards the end of my career. Amazing people.
Yes.
I love our veteran community.
Oh my God, yes, definitely.
And I love to serve. And let me tell you something. I'm old school. I believe in why we became America in 1776.
Amen.
For me, that matters. And so, what's the hottest news this week? The inauguration.
Definitely the inauguration.
Yeah.
I want to say that the inauguration right now is the hottest topic. Did you know right now there are people still talking about it? Matter of fact, it was a hot topic before the inauguration. I was looking at the views, guys. Check this out. This is probably one of the most viewed inaugurations I would say in presidential history. Most viewed. No, I can't say I don't have the number up top. But I mean, views wise, everybody was talking about this thing. Everybody, if you go everywhere, every barber, man. I was in the barber shop, and that's what they were talking about. This is the hottest topic because everybody everybody was waiting.
My dude, they were packed in the Capital One Arena.
Crazy. I saw that.
Yeah, he is literally the only president in my lifetime, and I'm a history guy. I love war histories because we had to study that as an officer in the Army, and I know history. I know the unadulterated history that has not been violated by our liberal system. Put it that way. But
in the inauguration,
he's the only president that fills up stadiums,
dude.
And he signs executive orders on day one in front of an entire stadium.
Watch this.
Who does that now?
Did you know? You know who was the last president that was the most popular besides Obama?
True.
If you arguably, whether you agree with him or not, regardless how much he destroyed this country, because he was freaking terrible. That guy was damn.
That's factual.
He put this country to shit. All right, he went to shit, but he was popular.
Yeah.
But he never filled. But the amount, but he never filled up stadiums like Trump.
No.
One thing I gotta say, Trump. Did you see? And guess what? You know what Trump did? Did you see he was performing before his inauguration? This guy had. Think about it. Look at it. I know it's gonna sound. This guy had Snoop Dogg. What do you call that guy? Rick Ross. This is for the crowd. But think about it.
Yeah.
And these are and look at the demo. The reason I'm saying it, but look at the demographic of people
Yep.
that he had
Mm-hmm.
voted. But that tells you how popular he is, how popular he is, and that tells you a lot about this inauguration. I don't know about you, but I'm excited about what's going to happen to America. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I think this is a winning for America right now. And let me tell you something. It was, but this is what I saw. I saw the name of Jesus lifted up in front of the nation.
Yes.
Before he got sworn in by Reverend Franklin Graham. I saw a president. I call it. He said the people got sworn in today. That's his term. The people got sworn in. You see that? Man, when is the last time a president said that the people?
What was that young kid named? The young African.
And dude, we are. Let me tell you. Here's some demographics for you. We are Puerto Rican Americans. We're Latino. We're from the inner city up in North Jersey. We grew up New York Yankee fans, so we're very familiar with the Bronx, Newark, New Jersey.
Well, baseball used to be good.
And yeah, that was the golden era of baseball. Derek Jeter,
shit
Mariano Rivera, Andy Pettit, all the homies. That's the best. Anyhow, we come from a demographic that used to vote primarily Democrat, and we definitely stood apart because we started to realize like it doesn't align up with our worldview. It doesn't line up with how we think people should be, and in regards to unity, and it just we decided to work, go on our own and be the black sheep of the family.
If you think about it, right? See, listen, I would say I've been living in this family, right? I probably lived in Jersey. I've been there for the longest, right? If you think about it, if you notice the mindset, when these are people that don't do their research. Most, if you go to most, like Jersey is a perfect example. Places like Jersey, New York, very, very blue states, right?
Right.
Very blue states, right? They automatically, if you look at all families, they feel like even Latino African Americans that they have to vote Democrat. They have to vote because they've been told they've been told. They've been told that the Democrats, they care about the poor. They care about, that's what they're saying, right? They always say, well, if you don't vote Republican because they don't care about the poor, they don't care about the rich. So they have installed, so it's been like I call it a generational curse, in my opinion. Yeah. It's a generational thing that's been passed down for so many years. Now, if you look in Jersey, when I first supported Trump, you used to have to be quiet.
Yeah.
When Trump's first term, you had to be careful.
Yeah.
Because you have to be, you have to be careful because God forbid. But what happens? What happened? That's the problem with mainstream media, because we're so brainwashed. When you don't do your research and you allow to believe what's on TV, and that's the problem with society. They believe what they see instead of doing your research, instead of seeking out God on it.
Plain out simple, man. What happened? The people voted from all 50 states. All peoples voted.
Yes.
Their voice was heard.
Come on.
Let me tell you, sir, and not the people what they peddle in front of the news. So what happened? Legacy media died. Exactly. That's what happened. And I'm glad for it because it was, in the army we call it psychological operations. That's what they use to mold people's perception. And I'm glad that legacy media died, and I'm glad that we're in a season of winning now.
You got to understand what caught people's eyes, right? What happened was people look at the other side. Look what the left was pushing: the abortion, racism. Listen, you can't when you got a family that is struggling to make ends meet, that could barely get by, that could barely pay their rent, that could barely pay their mortgage, right? That could and you got and because due to inflation getting hit. Listen, what Trump did was Trump was talking about the things that really mattered during that time. Mm-hmm. What was the people that voted? Their concern was the economy in border security. That's all people cared about. And I think this is why you think legacy media died. They thought by pushing these things that it's going to reach out. And look how many people he reached out to. He reached out to all generations. We're talking about Gen X, right? You got Gen X, the millennials. He even reached out to Gen Zs. That tells you a lot.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest. Let's be honest, right? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't listen. I don't care about saying this guy's racist. Listen, don't tell me that don't tell me that when I'm barely getting by. Yeah. I want to know what you're going to do for this country with policies, and that's what Trump did. He was able to meet people's needs, and that's why you think people voted for him? He was able to meet people's needs.
Well, nonetheless, that is a W for the United States.
That's what we need. Praise
and
God.
It's amazing to see everyone getting on board, and it's about at the end of the day unifying people. He's a president for all peoples, not just one side of the aisle. It's for all peoples. So man, I pray for him and his administration that they do it well, and that we win. We start winning as a nation, and we get back to winning.
He survived this one, so thank God.
So let's get after it, man.
All right.
Every holiday, we always have like the family funny story.
I'm sorry?
I said
I wish you would speak English at the dinner table.
I wish I could take a pipe to your head. You know
okay,
what
you know what? No one talks to me like that. Did you hear me? No one talks to Paul Walker like that.
Dude, we grew up like that. Oh my God. Remember Thanksgivings growing up? Oh my God. It was just like old school Puerto Ricans up in North Jersey. We would invite the entire family.
Those were the days.
Those were the days, man. It was literally like in the house. You have music playing. Remember back then we used to have.
It's my favorite moment. Because we always had Domino's games, right?
Oh, dude.
That day, remember we had we had a DJ one time, and my uncle,
a house
DJ.
Remember,
Poopo, right? Our Uncle Jose, right?
Yeah.
My favorite moment when he came out, that guy was always drunk as shit, right? That guy was drunk as shit. He was always drunk as shit.
The funny Uncle, the funny, yeah.
That guy was like the laugh of the party, right?
Right.
Good old days. And he came out. Remember, he came out dressed like Elvis Presley. You remember that? Remember that? Was you around?
Yeah, I was there. I was there. I was still in here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you was in the arm. I think you was in the arm, but you came for leave or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember that was probably to me that was one of the most. I mean, it's a lot of moments. Because most of the time I was wasted, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so what happened that night was we had a family friend. His name was Jose
Rubiani.
Jose Rubiani.
That was the guy's name.
They were DJs from back in the 80s and 90s, and he was a family friend. We used to have every year during Thanksgiving, we called it the Domino Tournament. And we had this old school WWE title as that was the title whoever won, right? And we literally would play. It'll be my father and I against our Uncle Pupo and his wife, or him and our grandfather. It'd be with anybody. And it was always fun. And so that particular night, homeboy dressed up like Elvis, like he was, and then he had Viva Las Vegas playing. Yeah. It was like an entrance music. And dude, we had strobe lights in the house. It was like an old school bumping house party. But all the family was there. It was just funny as hell.
I want to add this, but even though we tell family, but what I remember though, on a serious note, I remember, right, how if you look back, because it's like the older you get, you feel like, man, what happened to them days, right? I felt like the closeness. You saw everybody gathering together. That's what I personally missed. And I get it. People move on to their lives. We're older now, but I remember the good times.
Right.
And the reason I said the good times is the reason I mentioned the good times because there's people out there that don't have those opportunities. There's people out there that don't get those opportunities, that didn't get to grow up with that.
Right.
And those are fun times, man. Those are fun times, and I believe. Let's say you're married. That's probably, I always say if you're married and you got families, always keep. I believe you got to try the best you can to keep that alive. Not get it. Sometimes you might be in a situation about the States, but you could keep that alive because what happens is your children see that.
It's
and
memories,
they
man.
remember. See, because if I remember that, you see what I'm saying? And and I think we have a tendency.
Dude, we were like, I had to be about 20 years old when that happened.
Yeah, man.
You were just about 18, 19.
Yeah,
And
young
it's
kid,
still in
man.
our mind. We're right now. I'm in my late 30s.
And
You know,
we gotta be careful because you remember those times, but you know what's sad? But when somebody dies in the family, that's when all you see those people again, and it shouldn't be like that, personally. And I get it sometimes, but whatever. I'm just that's
with families. On a serious note as well, we can't. We have to be able to respect each other's views,
yes.
because we're all. We are all different. That's a fact.
I'll tell you something, definitely.
And we got to be able to still respect one another, and then still love each other and appreciate gathering together. And let me tell you, in a lot of cases, growing up in the army, sometimes people don't have family, but your friends become your family.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with them, man. You have to just, if you try to live like a lone wolf and not stay connected to people, let me tell you something, you're going to live a lonely life. Experienced military leader. The best leaders were once upon a time the best followers and the best teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Being a leader is about being a servant.
Yes.
The leader is the biggest servant on the team. We think kings did. They are the largest servant of a nation. They have to serve the people. And in a lot of days, I think the young people, especially young men, they're getting away from uh, taking ownership. They're being passive in their decision making. Passive, dude. I'm anywhere between 18 and 20 years old. I'm walking by, and my head is up, shoulders back. I'm saying, hey, I give the greeting of the day. Good morning. How you doing? Hey, how's it going? These guys with their little phones or their headphones or this. I'm like, what the hell is that? And we call that being passive, dude. That's a passive individual.
It's
You got to be shoulders back, eyes forward, man. Give the greeting of the day. We're losing that in society.
You know what it was? Social media. It was social media. Now, like I said, social media there has its positives because we can use for a lot of things. But it also had a positive effect on society. I would say business wise, definitely.
Yeah.
Because now we can reach out to more people. You can communicate more people around the globe and develop relationships that you couldn't develop back in the 90s and early 2000s, right?
Facts.
But the negative part, what it did to people is that communication. There's no, if you talk to average person, a lot of people don't even know how to have a normal conversation. And I ain't gonna lie, I caught myself doing that when I was taking this Uber. You could tell older guy, you could tell he likes to talk a lot, right?
Yeah.
But that was my fault because I was so much in the phone.
Yeah.
Because you're so accustomed to that because everybody's doing it. And I know it's a guy talk, but I realized this guy comes from a time where random people could talk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. Like I remember our grandmother, right?
Yeah. Which one?
Kande.
Yeah.
Like when I was kids, I look back at stuff like that. One time, I visited a Puerto Rican young kid. I was 13, I remember. And she used to take those cabs, right, to go to one of those downtown. We was going downtown, right, wherever their downtown was.
The Pueblo. Yeah.
At that time, and she was talking to some guy, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe she knows him.
Mm-hmm.
I found out she even knows she just met that guy that day. I was like, what the heck? That just freaked out. My mother did the same thing. One time I was picking up my mom in the laundromat. His one still living in Patterson, right? Patterson, Jersey. I was picking a laundromat right there on Chamberlain Ave. And she needed a ride, And she told the lady, I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's like an old friend or a coworker. I said, oh, mom, you know her? She's like, nah, I just met her that day. I'm like, what the heck? But the whole purpose was, and it shocks you, but the whole purpose was that I think our generation, it kind of started that, downgraded, then it got worse. But that's because they come from a time when there was no social media. They didn't have cell phones. There wasn't Facebook. It's like you had to meet each other. And I believe we lost social skills. I believe we lost that.
I would have to say, unfortunately, the millennials, a large percentage of millennials, which is our generation, they got jacked up, man. And you know what? The biggest mistake you do to your kids is making everything easy for them, giving everything to them in a silver platter. And because there's a large portion of millennials who felt parent hurt or some kind of church hurt or whatever,
Yeah.
they develop some belief system saying, I'm never going to let my child feel that, go with what I went through. Because a lot of times it's a self thing, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has their own perception of how they feel about a certain topic or something
Yes.
or an experience that they experienced personally. And what they did is they handicapped our children. Why do you think you look at the young kids now?
Yes.
They're a product of millennial parenting. And let me tell you, the Bible talks about, you know, what you what you sow and reap. You can't be upset when you reap some soft ass kids.
I believe.
I'm just saying because you don't want to put you sowed the seed, you cultivated it, you nurture them with your biased views or biased perceptions instead of looking back and just saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I should let my kid work for something. Maybe I should let my kid,
Yeah.
maybe not make it easy because guess what? When they get out in the real world don't care about you. I don't know about you, dude, but there's no way I'm gonna have my son, 40 years old, living in my house. Dude, he's a man. He needs to lead his own family.
Yeah.
And so I just think that unfortunately the millennials started this trend and everyone loves the quote. I do believe there's mental illness, there's sicknesses out there, but I feel like when someone just have the inability to handle things, they just classify it as, oh, I got mental illness. Oh, I got anxiety. Oh, I got
It's a
this.
damn excuse.
I said, listen, bro, anxiety and all these feelings been around since the beginning of human time. And we live in the United States of America, a free country. And so, it just goes, it's about the mentality, man. It's about how you approach life. And I feel like we got to raise our kids right.
Personally, it's really an American thing because other countries don't think like us.
No.
Now, I'm going to go back to millennials. If you look at our generation, I think we became we developed a godless. I believe in this country, we played a part
Yeah,
and live in a country that's so godless.
for sure.
We create a godless society because they were hurt by religion or they were hurt by their, well, to say church hurt especially, right?
Yeah,
church hurt especially, whatever, right? You know what? I'm not gonna go up be like that. You know, I'm not gonna force my kid to do this.
Yeah.
And we think and we don't realize what we're actually doing. We're allowing what will hurt them and mistakes, not realizing that, hey, so your parents weren't perfect either. So we allow that. We think I'm going to make it better. I'm going to get my corporate. And look what we did now. And look at the society we created.
We're definitely going to have some pushback from the soft people out there.
We created a destructive society. I will argue the millennial society. We became very anti-family.
We did. I don't know why.
We became very. Watch this. Having kids and the motherfucker being up. That became a normal thing.
It's not normal.
And it's not normal.
No.
And we pushed it and we passed it down and look what it's done, right? Very godless. And I'm sorry to say, and now we see, look at the Gen Zs and the next one, you're gonna have the Gen Alphas. That's next, and what's gonna happen to them, right? So, and I believe that's what happened. We lost, like you said. I don't care. I'm gonna get pushback, but I really don't give a damn because that woke culture is down.
What?
You can't censor me no more. You can't censor me. Trump is president. You ain't gonna censor me, so I don't give a damn. Watch this. Going back, remember you mentioned leadership.
Yeah.
You know who else I blame? The men ain't leading.
That's right.
I will touch on feminism, but we're gonna
that'd be a different episode.
We're gonna use it for another day because I felt not to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
That's probably the Lord. That most likely is the Lord saying that right now.
Yeah.
The men, we lost our balls. Yes.
Yeah.
Cojones, we won't have a pair no more. Because why? We allowed society. Or we don't want to offend nobody no more. So, and I believe because we lost the leadership, the family crumbled. I'm going to get pushed back. Ladies, don't get upset about me. Look at a single mother household, man. I'm not saying that a woman doesn't have the ability to. Shout out to the single mothers that do the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
But only a man can really turn a boy to raise him like a man. I don't care nobody says, because there's certain things because a man, remember, for example,
It's science.
it's
Like,
scientific fact. Listen, a
yeah.
father, they said it, statistically speaking, they're meant to teach. A woman's nature is to nurture.
Right.
A man, he naturally teaches you lessons and lessons. I don't know, have you ever noticed when a man speaks to you, an older guy, was your father or not, that thing will stick you for the, if it influence you, it will stick you for the rest of your life. There's some, I'm not saying that a woman can't, but there's something.
We call that oak tree counseling.
It's a
sit there and listen to that wisdom.
And you remember those things. You're like, man, and because they were meant to. A man was meant to be a leader. We were meant to lead. That's it's in our nature. God created us to lead. He never created.
Here's a practical example of what we're trying to say. Right. I have teenage boys, and my ex-wife, she calls me during this time period where my son goes through puberty. Every teenager goes through it. The whole sex talk, everything, all the talks, right? And she calls me, and I don't know what to do. I'm a woman. I'm his mother. I don't know the man's body like you do. I need you to talk to your son. And that was I call it such a raw response, because that's someone who understands at the very core, like, a father needs to show a son how to be a man.
Exactly.
And then likewise, whenever I have a daughter, whenever I'm still learning how to do my daughter's hair. I'm not good at it at all. But you know what I do? I always call my wife. I said, babe, I need help with her hair. I don't know how to do this. This is not my thing. And she just goes in there and she does this, like, she does it in 5 seconds. Exactly. I don't know how she does it, but it's because it's natural. And she's teaching me these things, and I'm trying to, it's the whole blue and pink language. I'm trying to compute in my mind, all right, how do I do that? That's why one day I was sitting here watching TV with my daughter. We were watching a cartoon, and the thought crossed my mind, and I'm just like, man, God forbid something bad was to happen to my family, and it was just me and my daughter left over. It would be such a hard job to be her father.
No,
because one, I would have to do the job of two parents, and I have my strengths is I'm not a big empathy. I have to consistently, actively work on being empathetic with people, just because of my personality and my life experiences. My wife is the opposite of me. That's why we work. She fills in the void that I can't fill, and then likewise I fill in the void of strength and, you know, consistency, accountability. Wow. But just long story short, man, there's a reason why mothers help develop their daughters, and there's a reason why fathers help develop their sons.
Yes.
But all together, when you this is why it's designed for two to be in the house.
That's what I was thinking.
The mother and father. And especially by biblical design, husband and wife. It's supposed to be. Why is designed? If they're one and they're one accord, one mind, and they're on the same team first, they honor God and they honor each other first, their kids come last. Because if you love God first, then you love each other because you're one, you have an endless supply of love that's going to go to your children. It's endless because it's not predicated on human love. Because human love, we could run dry quite easily just with tough times hitting life. Exactly. We'd be all warmy, and then all of a sudden something bad happened. We could pull away, get disconnected.
Or butterflies you feel when you first meet somebody, those fun moments, and oh my God, I call it oh my God, you're so great.
You're so great.
And I think
you're so amazing.
I could speak for this country, and this is why divorce rates be so freaking high.
Yeah.
What happens is people go in thinking that it's gonna always be like that.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. I call it they want that Disney movie love. They want that Disney movie, that fantasy. And they don't realize I don't care. It ain't gonna always be like that, because here's the reality. Here's the reality. It don't sound funny. She might get fat, dude.
So will he.
Yeah. At first, you might be that guy. Nice. You might have met him. He might looked it good. He might looked at wow, look how fine he is, 6 feet tall. I'm gonna these women standing. He had a nice body. He might turn around and he might develop a belly. And guess what? Your wife might not always look like that. But I know it's a joke. But if you think about it, though, But by Father Time, they ain't gonna. But it's not even that. I think, but that's the problem, right? Because they have so much fun in the moment. They don't feel that way. That's why divorce rates go high. They start. You ever? Well, you ever hear people's stories about the divorce? Sometimes, besides without infidelity, I heard a story without infidelity. You know what they say? I feel like we grew apart.
Or
I'm like this.
Or they go, I lost myself. I don't know myself. I'm just like, what?
You know what that was? Number one, they got deceived by the devil because they came in with an unrealistic expectation. That's what happened. They thought that they were gonna feel like that for the rest of the time. But I know we got to move on to that.
Having been married twice, I know for a fact you got to choose to love your partner on a daily basis, and that's staying consistent, man.
Yeah. We got to move on to
all right. Our last topic. Some entertainment.
Listen.
Yo, Netflix. Let's go. Getting WWE on the platform.
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
Let me tell you about Raw lately. It's been feeling like it feels like I've been watching pay-per-view. Raw, listen, I don't care nobody say. I've been watching wrestling for years. I've been watching wrestling. I've been watching wrestling before the Attitude Era. Okay.
Facts.
And even when the Attitude Era, which is considered one of the greatest eras in WWE history, when it was WWF, but now WWE, right? If you look back, Raw's always been great in SmackDown, but Raw feels like you're watching a pay-per-view event.
It's almost like watching WrestleMania, dude.
I'm telling you, the moment I don't care nobody says, I'm telling you, the moment WWE got together with the UFC, right, and they had the board members and they had the
TKO company.
TKO, that's what it's called. Sorry about that. And they took out Vince McMahon. Shout to, I mean, I would never. I don't take away. I don't take away from Vince McMahon, but the guy lose the vision after a while. But look what happened. They created down to Triple H, and let me tell you something. They have ratings like never before. People are loving it.
Do you know they're the best on all social media platforms
right now?
No one doing it better than WWE, bro.
Nobody. Everybody's trying to come. You can't. Cannot do it.
Dude, as a business, they're thriving and they're killing it.
Listen, them going to Netflix was probably one of the best moves they ever made. Not only for themselves, it's helping Netflix themselves. You know how many people are going to subscribe to Netflix now? You know how many wrestling fans are going to subscribe to Netflix?
Dude, was publicized that over 80% of the world's population.
I'm thinking about putting stocks in there right now. I'm thinking about putting stocks into WWE.
You're gonna buy some TKO right now.
I'm thinking about putting some TKO. I'm serious.
But yeah, man. Real quick about what do you think about Saturday Night Main Event? It's coming this Saturday, so it's happening in a few days. We got Gunther, the Ring General, which is my dude. I think that guy's the future. He's facing Jey Uso at the main event Saturday.
Oh my God! First of all, Saturday main event. Back in the day, Saturday. I remember back in the day, Saturday main event wasn't really.
It was straight trash.
It wasn't trash. It was like They made. Have you noticed they never used the big stars?
Nah.
Back in Saturday, because remember, it was like Saturday main event. It's similar to like a Sunday Night Heat.
Sunday Night Heat.
Because you didn't really, but they didn't put. You never put the main.
Yeah.
But look how they're changing the game of wrestling.
Yo.
They're making Saturday main event. They're putting, these are main eventers. These are big stars. Gunther, Jey Uso. They're using, man, talk about a genius business move.
Yo.
I'm looking forward to that match. Listen, I like Jey Uso. I like the whole Yeet thing. Let me tell you something. Yes, Gunther, I believe he does have a future. I hope he stays a villain. Because if he ever goes to a good guy, I think he'll be a terrible good guy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He needs to stay a villain.
Dude.
And Jey Uso, he's doing his thing. You know what? Jey Uso right now, he already got the Yeet thing down. Now, do I see him as like a heavyweight champion right now? You want to be honest with you?
Not this moment.
Not right now.
No.
I think he still needs
He's
more
still building up. He's on the build. He's under there.
I think he needs to just, let this thing play out because it's doing well for him. I think I don't see him as heavyweight champion. There's a reason why. I don't know if you know they stripped. Why you think they stripped him? Why you think they stripped him from the the IC champion for a reason?
Well, they had
And Brock
creative.
Lesnar, let's be honest, with you from this point, you think about it.
Creative have their reasons, man.
You like, like Braun. They had to. First of all, Bronson was a freaking perfect guy for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But going back to him, I believe there's a reason why. I kind of knew. I mean, actually, when he was holding the Intercontinental, which is good because it's a good step when you hold that Intercontinental
The IC
Championship.
belt is a workhorse belt. Everyone knows it.
Because every big star in history had to become Intercontinental Champion. Stone Cold. I could go down the line with history.
Stone Cold, Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels.
All of them had to help because.
Triple H.
But that's the next step.
Or Hunter
before.
Helmsley.
But if you get that to that step, you're on the way to go.
Yeah.
They all had to do it.
Yeah.
But look at Stone Cold. I remember back in the day when Stone Cold was Intercontinental Champion. If you look back, like, man, it looks like a main event guy. But look how entertaining. Yeah. Look how much pop this guy had. With just with the IC belt. Yeah. He took that belt. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, they all did their thing. Shawn Michaels, like, greatest of all time. But what he did, what Stone Cold did with
it's
that
the character that makes the belt, dude, all day.
What Stone Cold did with that belt. And that's how you knew, oh, this guy's definitely going to be a future man. Like I said, Jey Uso. What
about CM Punk's main eventing the first Netflix?
No, let me tell you, CM Punk. He's very hated. Listen, CM Punk right now, that guy, I don't care what nobody says. Nobody got my game like CM Punk right now.
Yeah, that's original right there.
They said I saw things leaked out, right? They said that realistically, he's not really a likable guy. He's not likable, but you cannot CM Punk, the amount of pop this man got. Think about it. Dude. How can you leave? This guy was out of WWE for like 6 years.
Yeah,
6 years and to come back.
I think it was a decade, dude. Actually,
almost a decade.
Oh wow!
To come back with that much pop, you have to. He has to be a big. You have to. They knew he had to be a main event. And
I think as a business guy, bro, CM Punk has a name brand, and that's his name. And he's a master at leveraging his name brand.
Listen,
at the end of the day, he sells tickets,
bro. Did you see the last Mike thing? You see what he said about everybody?
Dude.
Hulk Hogan.
Yo. He called him, I respect Hulk Hogan, what he did for this business. Yeah. But he called him, throw his dusty ass over the top rope. I laughed so hard. I said, damn, that's messed up. That's a legend right there. You can't be saying that.
Nah, you gotta respect Hogan. You
gotta respect. Put some respect on that name.
Because Hogan did a lot for wrestling.
Yeah, he did. Him and Ric Flair, they did a lot for the wrestling industry, bro.
I mean, I felt bad when they booed Hogan. Let's talk about that. Remember when they booed Hogan? Dude. I felt so bad.
Bro, they were in California.
Now, I'm not lying. That's a freaking liberal city. It's a bunch of liberals. Because I don't know. People don't know. Hogan is a Trump supporter.
He's an international superstar. And when he decided to use his platform to promote what he believes in, you're gonna have the haters, bro.
You know what they do? They're using the racism stuff. That's how you know. You see the media? They only did that because he supported Trump.
Bro, forget the noise.
I don't care what nobody said. Listen, Hulk Hogan, what he did for the sport. Listen, what he did for WWE when it was WWF. Let's be real. No, this is a fact. After Andre the Giant. What he did for the WWF, he took WWF to a whole nother level at that time, during the golden era. That was his era. Yeah. He took it to a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. He took that belt, the WWF, and to this day, whether you hate it or not, they still talk about his matches. They still talk about his history. I'll go as far as this. I don't care nobody says. When he went to WCW and he became a heel, look what he did with that character.
Yeah, he was beast mode with NWO.
You can't tell. Not only he was good. I was reading Hogan, right? I want people to hear this. Hogan, I was watching a documentary about Hogan before he left the WWE to go to WCW. It came a time that the Hogan, his run was over.
Right.
The Hulkamania run was over.
Right.
It was time to move on.
Yeah.
Hogan this is before he was going to sign with the WCW. He suggested Vince McMahon, hey, let me be a heel. because Hogan knew himself that run was over.
Yeah.
So he was thinking, let me be a heel. This McMahon didn't believe they would have worked. He said, I'll be a heel. Because if you look at Hogan's early years in wrestling, when he was in the independents, he said he was a heel.
He was a heel when he first came up.
When he first came to independent, he was a heel.
Yeah.
He's done the heel part before. But guess what? But look what happened though. Look what when he went to WCW. Look what he did with NWO. Look what he did as a heel, and he did. You can't say, bro. He was
revolutionary.
He was a freaking great.
He
heel.
revolutionized his character.
Oh
added
my
more
God.
depth. It was amazing.
I believe. Imagine if Vince McMahon would have took him up on his idea.
It would have been no Monday Night Wars. I'll tell you that right now.
He didn't have to hold. And if you look at his history, he wasn't actually to hold the belt to be the face. He said, "Let me be a heel." You know what he could have done for guys during that time? Because remember, during that time, that you had guys like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels coming up. Now you had Bret Hart. During that time, you had Kevin Nash, which was called Diesel during that era. You had Razor Ramon, which is Scott. Look what he could have done. Look what Vince McMahon would have took him up on his offer. I believe he should have just went with it.
History played its role, and it played out, man. But hey, man, I think today that was a good episode for today, man, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Yes.
We're gonna have a link in the show notes.
Yes.
I'm a business owner, and I like to promote entrepreneurship. And so if you're a young person and you want to learn how to make some money, learn how to have the right mindset, in the show note links, we're gonna have trw.com, which is the real world. It's Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. They have a university that teaches you mindset, teaches you physical fitness, and teaches you how to be an entrepreneur and make money, which is Bitcoin, whatever. It's a multifaceted academy. It's definitely a good plug. I've been a member since last summer, and I look like I'm gonna be a long time member, man. I learned a lot already from that academy, and I took a lot of principles and things I've learned from there, and it's definitely made me some more money here in this real world.
I want to say thank you for coming on. Keep God first. All right, Jesus Christ is Lord.
That's right.
God bless America. Let's go.